Welcome to my channel. This is Captain Binoy Varakil, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Joseph's College, Varakil, Kolkot. We begin a new series of lectures today, and in this series of lectures, we discuss a lot of important topics related to the history of the English language. In today's lecture, we focus on two topics. The first topic is language families. In the second section of this lecture, we discuss Romance languages. Let us understand what we mean by language families. Most languages belong to language families. A language family is a group of related languages that developed from a common historic ancestor referred to as proto-language. Proto means early in Greek. The ancestral language is usually not known directly, but it is possible to discover many of its features by applying the comparative method that can demonstrate the family status of many languages. Thus, provincial dialects of Vulgar Latin are known to have given rise to the modern Romance languages. So, the Proto-Romance language is more or less identical to Latin. Similarly, Old Norse was the ancestor of Norwegian, Swedish, Danish, and Icelandic. Sanskrit was the proto-language of many of the languages of the Indian subcontinent, such as Bengali, Hindi, Marathi, and Urdu. Further back in time, all these ancestral languages descended in turn from one common ancestor. We call this ancestor PIE, Proto-Indo-European. Language families can be subdivided into smaller units called branches. For instance, the Indo-European family has several branches, among them Germanic, Romance, and Slavic. How do linguists establish relationships among languages? Sometimes it is relatively easy to establish relationships among languages. Let us look at the Romance languages. We know that Italian is a descendant of Latin, a language that was spoken in Italy 2000 years ago, and one which left a great number of written documents. The Roman conquest helped the spread of Latin throughout Europe, where it eventually developed into regional dialects. When the Roman Empire broke up, these regional dialects evolved into the modern Romance languages that we know today: French, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, and others. These languages form the Romance branch of the Indo-European language family. By looking at the word for water and languages, one can easily see the similarities among them. Water in Romance languages, in Italian, water is aqua. In Spanish, agua. In Portuguese, agua. In Latin, aqua. Romance languages, group of related languages, all derived from Vulgar Latin within historical times and forming a subgroup of the Italic branch of the Indo-European language family. The major languages of the family include French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian, all national languages. And now let us discuss, what if the ancestral languages left no records? The case with Romance languages is easy because Their common ancestor Latin left many written documents. In most cases, however, the ancestral language was not written. As a result, linguists look at similarities among its modern descendants to establish common origins. Take a look at these examples. English, water; German, Wasser; Danish, Wand; Russian, Voda; Polish, Voda; Czechoslovakian, Voda. It's clear that the word for water looks very similar within each group, but not quite as similar across groups. Languages in the first group belong to the Germanic branch of the Indo-European language family. Languages in the second group belong to the Slavic branch. Although there are no written records of the ancestral Proto-Germanic or Slavic languages, we have to assume that these two ancestral languages must have existed at some time, just like Latin did. According to Ethnologue, there are 147 language families in the world. This figure may not be precise because of our limited knowledge about many of the languages spoken in the most linguistically diverse areas of the world, such as Africa. The actual number of families once these languages are studied and relationships among them are established will undoubtedly keep changing. Now let's discuss world's largest language families. The largest language families, those with over 25 languages, are listed in Ethnologue. There are 6,523 languages in this group, and together they account for close to 95% of all world languages, assuming that there are some 6,900 languages in the world. The remaining families account for only 5% of the world languages. In addition, there are 53 languages considered unclassified. Now let's discuss Romance languages. A number of languages have descended from or originated from Latin, the language of ancient Rome. These languages are called Romance languages. So it's very easy to understand. Languages which descended from Latin, the language of ancient Rome, can be called Romance languages. They represent the survival of Latin in different parts of the Roman Empire of yesterdays. These Romance languages are not derived from the classical Latin of Cicero or Virgil, but from the spoken language of the masses known as Vulgar Latin or Common Latin. The chief Romance languages are French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. All these languages have developed their own grammar and syntax, but there are evidences to establish their common ancestry. The most obvious resemblances are in pronunciation. For example, the Latin word for good is bonus. It appears in the Romance languages as follows. In Italian it is buono, in Spanish bueno, French bon, Portuguese bom, and Romanian bun. At a point of time in the past, the ancestors of English and Latin were sister languages. Their respective offsprings are cousins. Thus, the Romance languages are cousins to English. In Proto-Indo-European, we have the Italic, the Latin, Proto-Germanic, West Germanic, and the English language. We can say that the Romance languages are cousins to English because English language is related to the Romance languages. And how is English language related to the Romance languages? Because all the languages are the daughter languages of Proto-Indo-European, or rather we can say that English is one of the daughter languages of the Proto-Indo-European. Similarly, the Romance languages are the daughter languages of the Proto-Indo-European. In short, we can say that from the Proto-Indo-European language developed Italian, Latin, and all the other Romance languages. Similarly, from Proto-Indo-European developed Proto-Germanic, West Germanic, and one of the West Germanic languages is English. So we understand the fact that English is a cousin language to the Romance languages. With this, we end the discussion of these two topics, that is language family and Romance languages. Now, in the next lecture, we will discuss Proto-Indo-European in detail. Thank you very much for listening.